everyone, I'm Spider-Man 1991 and I like to read comic books. So I'm going to talk about all the comic books that I read for the week of October 8th, 2014. Let's get started with Amazing Spider-Man number 7. The issue starts off with Anna Marie against telling Peter Parker that he needs to focus more time on his company and it was something and not try to be Spider-Man every time there's a police alert goes out. And she points out that that was something Otto was able to do. He was able to deal with all the big stuff that did require superhero, but for all the small stuff, he left it to the police and the firemen. And so while they're listening to some police bulletins, suddenly a bulletin comes out that there is a blue superhuman causing a robbery, and she's wearing a Miss Marvel costume. So Spider-Man swings into action and is shortly joined by the current Miss Marvel. Basically the perp who's wearing the classic Miss Marvel costume is apparently a Kree woman, and she's working with some other thugs, one who apparently has a history with Spider-Man, so he implies, and they're all guarding this cocoon, which Miss Marvel notices that's similar to the one she experienced a while ago, and basically they find out that the Kree woman they're fighting does have some of Miss Marvel's powers, but this other power which allows her to transform into this giant beast creature with wings, and that's kind of where the main story arc ends. However, we also get a backup feature, which if you notice in the corner here of the cover, it features the British Spider-Man, who is actually both his world's Spider-Man and Captain Britain, and he's part of the Captain Britain Corps, and he's using their Omniverse technology to observe several alternate realities where Morlun and his family have already striked, and they've already killed several Spider-Men, some of which you should be able to recognize. So basically, British Spider-Man, or actually he's called Spider UK, goes to Lady Roma of the Captain Britain Corps and tells her that right now the Captain Britain Corps is dealing with this crisis that's where some realities are slowly being destroyed, and so Spider UK talks to them about how someone's killing several alternate versions of Spider-Man or Spider Totems, and at first they're like, no, this is no big deal, we have to focus on what's causing the dimensions failing rather than what's killing the Spider-Man. However, Lady Roma realizes that Spider UK is probably onto something, and what's going on with the spiders could be dealing with the alternate dimensions being destroyed. So she gives him a device that allows him to travel the Omniverse and figure out what's going on. Okay. So far, this was a great little breathe. Gives us this story arc, this whole team up Spider-Man has with Miss Marvel. It kind of gives us some breathing room in between what went on the last story arc we had with Silk, Electro, and Black Cat, and Spider-Verse, which I think is good. You know, Spider-Verse technically begins next month, so we have 1 month to kind of give us a little breathing room before we get into this big story arc. Also, this was actually the first taste I had of the new Miss Marvel, and she's a very interesting character. I will say that. I do like how when she meets Spider-Man, she immediately goes all fangirl on him and asks questions about Carol Danvers, the current former Miss Marvel, current Captain Marvel, and when she sees Spider-Man, and the first thing out of her mouth when she sees Spider-Man is, "Oh my gosh, I'm in a Spider-Man team up." I like that line so much. So this seems like it could be like just a little fun story arc that we have going on here. In fact, if you follow Dan Slott on Twitter, then you know that he's actually a fan of the current Miss Marvel title. So obviously he's enjoying that. The Spider-Verse tie-in, though, that was also very good. We do get more information. It's good to know that obviously when they announced Spider-Verse, we're going to be dealing with almost every Spider-Man, and so we're still continuing that. And I'm glad that we're still getting some Edge of Spider-Verse tie-ins in the main title, and we don't have to buy the actual Edge of Spider-Verse miniseries just to get kind of the prequel going for Spider-Verse. But for all the good though in this issue, there is one scene that I didn't like, and it was in the Spider-Verse tie-in. It's when Spider UK is observing the first alternate reality we see him observing is apparently between Earth 1983 and Earth 1985, and it's the reality of the cartoon series Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. And when Morlun leaves, he apparently not only killed Spider-Man but also Firestar and Iceman, and that was just seeing that was very depressing. I know it's weird that I'm kind of smiling right now, but it was not. I was just like shocked. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe this. And the worst part of it was the dog that that Firestar had, Miss Line, was still alive, and it was very sad. It was very sad watching it. So now I'm kind of hoping that, hoping that if they do defeat Morlun and his family, there is some way they can revive the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I really want them to be back to life. It was just like a punch in the gut when I saw that scene. But overall, Amazing Spider-Man, very nice issue. Main story is very lighthearted. Edge of Spider-Verse tie-in, it's good, and it does have that punch in the gut that I mentioned. So overall, I would say if you're going to be reading Spider-Verse, definitely a buy. Next up, from DC, Batman, number 35. This is the beginning of the Endgame story arc. Also, this story arc takes place after Batman Eternal. And basically, the issue opens up with Bruce Wayne recovering from a dream, from waking up from a dream he had brought on by Scarecrow's fear toxin. And basically, and then when he wakes up, he talks to Alfred and Julia Pennyworth in Old Wayne Tower because of what's going on with Wayne Manor, because they're not in Wayne Manor anymore. And he talks, and basically Bruce is talking to Alfred and Julia when suddenly Wonder Woman attacks them and throws Bruce out of the tower. And when he lands, he has Alfred disperse this gas he has that creates this sort of fog around Gotham City, giving him enough time to reach his anti-Justice League armor, which is basically like this giant, well, not huge, but like sort of a larger exoskeleton, heavily armed exoskeleton. It's kind of like it looks similar to the Hulk. It's kind of like a bad version of the Hulkbuster armor in a way. And so basically Batman fights Wonder Woman, and he's able to stop her by using a magic artifact he found that was created by Hephaestus. That's his name. Using an opposite strength, basically using a reverse procedure that was used to make Wonder Woman's lasso of truth, and he's able to use that to convince Wonder Woman that she killed him and just keep her paralyzed. Then Flash shows up. Batman is able to take care of Flash by projecting his motions and dispensing a frictionless coating. Then Aquaman shows up, and of course Batman again has a plan. Uses a sort of foam that's able to absorb the moisture of Aquaman's body and also any moisture within 8 meters around. I believe the number was 8 meters within him, so that'll prevent Aquaman's power. So that will weaken Aquaman. Then suddenly Superman shows up and throws Batman to the theater. Then Batman starts questioning Superman, like, Clark, what's going on? Who did this to you? And then Superman's kind of like starts to form this like little creepy grin on his face, and he's like, Bruce, it's actually pretty funny. And then starts laughing, and then Batman realizes, oh my god, it's the Joker. Yep, Joker is back. Joker's back. Basically, that is basically the last page. Tells us that and it's not just the laughter; it's also the way they kind of wrote the teaser for next issue, saying next issue he's back. And so yeah, I really do like the way they kept the details of the plot of this story arc a secret, because I was not really seeing the Joker coming to be honest. And it's good that I did, and it's good that I didn't, because I think the Joker really works best when you're not expecting him to come back. And and obviously the title Endgame, I read afterwards. I after I read this issue, there was an interview with Scott Snyder posted, and I read it, and he said that basically this story arc refers to an endgame that Joker has with Batman, where Joker's trying to basically end it with Batman, obviously, but not just in a whole, he's trying to kill Batman thing or cause chaos, but just he wants to end, in a way, end his relationship with the Dark Knight. And it is good that they did keep this story arc a secret, because Scott Snyder even said that the reason he wanted to make sure most of the details about the story arc remain secret is that when you get to the last page of this issue and realize who it is, you get the same shock that Batman's feeling at the end. And also, unlike the last Joker story arc we had, Death of the Family, I feel like this one, with Death of the Family, it was really more focused on the Bat family as a whole. But this one, Endgame, this feels more like it's going to focus just on Batman and Joker, not really involve the rest of the Bat family in a way. So yeah. Also, on top of that, Greg Capullo's artwork, it's still phenomenal. I really do like his artwork in this title. Also, especially I noticed this, but Greg Capullo definitely shows Batman fighting. Does a good job showing Batman fighting in broad daylight, which I think is an interesting aspect, seeing as how Batman's definitely more of a night guy. But yeah, overall, basically we're done with Zero Year. This is giving us a taste of what's happening after Batman Eternal. So it's nice to get back to a Batman story arc that's a little more self-contained. Really, if you like Scott Snyder's writing, Greg Capullo's artwork, I really do. This has been one of my favorite series since the start of the New 52. And if you are a Batman and Joker, and also this is pretty much going to be the last story arc of the whole 75th anniversary Batman celebration. So Scott Snyder figured, what better way to close off than with Batman's greatest foe. So yeah, overall, if you like the Joker, I highly recommend you start reading this story arc. Although the only drawback I think some people will be is that this issue does cost $5. But overall, I think it's worth it. So honestly, definitely buy Batman number 35. Okay, that's it for this video. Again, like I said, I only had 2 comics this week. Sorry I didn't have much, but again, thank you for watching. Thank you for enjoying. Thank you for thumbs up if you do that sort of thing. Thanks for subscribing, whether old or new subscriber. I appreciate the subscription and support either way. I'm Spider-Man 1991 saying, see you later.